Welcome back everyone to Piney Plays Minecraft a Skirmish. And we did a bit of clearing out here as you can see. So now I've got a bit more that's visible on here. Alright, and this is where I'm going to plan on building. Obviously this is the inner part of the wall. Around here I'll start putting the outer part of the wall. Now the problem is we may be needing... Is there a way to make it curvy? Probably not. Probably won't fit at the moment or anything like that. Curves aren't exactly Minecraft's strong point in any case. But I figure so therefore of the Necromancer's Gate, these will form the wall that will go through the various wards of the wall that goes through there. Now, what I was thinking of, now is this regular dirt? Yeah, it's regular dirt. Alright. Now what I was thinking though is about this thing. You see that I've taken this path here and I'm ending it here now. What I'm going to build right here is an outer wall. I don't mean because this here are the two parallel walls that are going to go circling around the Baileys. So in a way it's effectively one huge wall that you have to go through. You're being channeled through, but there's also an outer wall and a gate that happens around here. And at this, then you then have to go turn up, head off towards the entrance along this way. Then you go into the various wards of the Necromancer's Gate. Then you come up here into the Sorcerer's Ascent. And then you finally make it into the Baileys of Dol Guldur. So that's the type of path that we are dealing with. Now that outer wall isn't part of the skirmish, but it does exist within game. Now the other thing I was thinking about is the material to use for this wall here. Now, logic says, of course, you use some sort of stone. The problem is I have been using smooth stone and cobblestone, ridiculous amounts, and I'm not really too sure that's going to be good to me because, let's face it, just having stone looks boring. Just look at this thing here. I mean, look at that. This looks really drab. And that's the reason why I have this granite in here, was to keep this tower from being too boring. And I'm like, no, don't throw your tools. And it still doesn't look like the most exciting tower ever built. But it certainly looks better than it would have looked if I made it purely out of smooth stone. So I have decided that I am going to do this side of the wall out of wood. And yes, I know it's not something that I would really seriously expect it to be made out of, because in game it's very definitely some variation of stone, but I am sorry, I am just crying for some sort of color contrast in all this stuff. So therefore, dark oak is going to be the material of choice for this. Now I'll probably actually use some other woods also in order to add a little bit of variation, because let's face it, it'll look pretty boring if everything was dark oak. I'll probably start out with a bit of dark oak. Now the question is, how high do we make this? And how do I get down once I do make it? The tricky bit with scaffolding. Alright, there we go. Alright, there we go. Okay, that's what I'm going to have to do on that side. But the idea there then is to do this out of dark oak, maybe. I wish I stopped throwing that stuff. Alright. I figured dark oak would be a good material to use. Dark and sinister, I'm hoping, as a Dark Lord's keep and all that. I guess maybe do that also and use that as my foundation level. And I'll go through all through here and all around. I figured that might be. Now the question is, what will I do for variation? Because this is going to be just as much trouble as that, I mean, without any change up on it. So let's see, what do we have in the way of... Actually, probably a foundation of cobble. Yes, a foundation of cobble, and that then will lead into the dark oak planks. And if I can get some regular oak on top of that, that's all the oak I've got, then that could give some... Yeah, I'm going to need a lot more of this stuff, aren't I? Yeah, I'll have to go to the pony and grab a bunch of... definitely not diorite. So let's go there. Let's see. Let's head on to this. And let's say 2 layers of cobble. Let's bring the cobble up to here. Alright, let's say 3 layers of cobble. Good. And it's because that gives us some sort of stony texture to work with this. And we can say that's the foundation then will be of stone, because a wooden foundation is probably not going to work all that well for this. So there, that if the enemy does try doing something about burning down the wall, then at least there would be the lower parts of it, though, will still be fine. All right, let's see. Let's just do it on there. Now, there have been, in history, there have been wooden walled castles. I don't think Sauron would be one to use that, but many Anglo-Saxon castles, for example, were made of wood, and the Normans, though, preferred ones made of stone for reasons that should be obvious, because there's this tendency of wooden castles being able to be set on fire. It's a bit more of a fire hazard, and a fire hazard doesn't work too well when you have an enemy that's determined to actually burn it down. But, of course, wood costs a lot less. So, there we go. So, therefore, we could do this. But I'm going to actually pretend that this is some sort of exotic stone, or either that, or maybe Sauron has this wood ensorcelled so that it does not burn. Hey, we're talking about a mighty necromancer here. All right, let's see. This is okay. Now we've got 2 layers of that. Now we still need some regular oak. Actually, let's see. Do I have a little bit of dirt here, so I can go this way if I want? Right. So the question is, what do I do concerning the top? Probably some... Actually, more likely this is going to work with strong points than with a battlement all the way across, because I think that will be easier to implement, and maybe some interest will come out of that. But I would like to have the top be of a different material. Actually, I'll also, though, like to be inside when the sun sets. let's do, yeah. Why do I have so little? I should have thought about birch. No, birch just looks way too light. I don't think I want anything too. My light color is going to be regular oak. All right, let's take a little nap and head back out. No, not that way. This way. So let's see. We've got. Well, we at least get a little bit of regular oak. And okay, do that. So therefore, what do we want? All right, how about if we do this. Okay, we'll put this on top. Right, actually, maybe some sort of battlement would be fine because being on top here. Oops. No, we don't want to do that. Gotta be careful here. Alright. Yeah, a little bit of a platform here then. And then probably throw some crenellations here. And that could probably start to, and then we could alternate on that. Therefore, we have a little bit of contrast that's going on in there. Isn't much, but hopefully it'll be better than nothing. Alright. And then we also have to decide what we're going to do, because we are eventually going to run into some gates at each one, because this thing is going to be divided into 4 wards. Actually, the Sorcerer's Ascent is a bit too steep here. And I think what I'm going to do is, alright, let's take this nonsense out for now. Maybe I'll throw some ladders up there in order to be able to get up and down. Rather than doing this, because this is going to get confused with the actual Sorcerer's Ascent at least. Alright, so let's get because the Sorcerer's Ascent right now, I'm having this a very steep climb, and I don't think that's really going to be all that for the good. So what I'm going to do then is, actually I could probably do some of this out of stone also. That's right, cobble. Actually, cobble I think will actually be a good ground material in this area. Alright. Alternating then with the dirt and cobble and stuff like this. Okay. Alright. Not as good as just... Let's see, Wells seems to be a master at coming out and getting a nice look when he does this. Now actually, I need some bushes. And you say, bushes in Dol Guldur? Yes, bushes in Dol Guldur. Because there are a number of times when I'm running in a skirmish where I have these drakelings, and especially in Assault and Ring Race Lair when I'm going through the Baileys, where you have these things hiding up in these little trees and bushes and stuff like that. So Dol Guldur, in LOTRO at least, is not completely bare of life. Now usually the type of... I remember there's one scene in The Lord of the Rings where they're in Mordor and Sam says that, well, if I heard that there was a bush growing in Mordor, that's exactly what I thought it would be like. So it's like, yeah, because it's all thorny and spiky and all that. Oh, yeah, I went through all that trouble putting that cobble down there, and look, I go and cover it up. Yes. Actually, that would probably be logical in the matter. All right, let's see. Well, but we do have this here, so we obviously... Now, there's a warg encounter right at the bottom. I think the warg stands in front of one of the doors here, so this is probably where the warg encounter will be. So let's... Oh, that's right. One advantage of cobble, of course, is that I can create slabs. Let's have a few slabs here. And that way I can have some half-height areas. So we can... Right, so we have a little bit of a half-height difference here, so it can be slightly going down. That's something I didn't think about before, but I can do that. And that way, yeah, some of these, yeah, it doesn't have to be consistent with us. Actually, it's probably better if it's not. I just have this thing where it just has to look regular or something like this. It sometimes irks me when I see something that is all uneven, stuff like that. Of course, it looks more natural if it is a bit uneven or something like that. So so I'm in two minds on that matter. All right. All right, and let's see. Okay. All right, I guess this will do. So this will then be our Sorcerer's Ascent. And actually, maybe a couple of these will... No, I didn't want that to be all the way like that. I just wanted them to be... Alright, so occasionally something... Alright, I think that'll do for now. And therefore, once again, to Sorcerer's Ascent, that means if this is the start Sorcerer's Ascent, we'll need to get our gate there. So where are we going to do the gates out of? Because while I have agreed to make these wooden walls here, I would probably want the gate being made out of something else. Actually, let me think on that, what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to do this out of wood or whether I'm going to do it out of stone or some other material. And I'll think about that between episodes. And next time, I'll see if I get some of this wall done between episodes. And perhaps see about what I'm going to do for this. And perhaps clear out a little bit more area and determine the exact point where I am going to start turning, because I am going to have to start turning soon so that I can go around here and thus get on top of there. And we'll see what we do about that in our next episode of Pineleaf Plays a Minecraft, a Skirmish.